Hi everyone. So today I'm joined by two amazing women, both coincidentally dressed in pink today. So it's Power Pink this morning. Jessica Crane and Sarah Abel. And they're with me today because I was so intrigued by a program that they are presenting and offering to hair and beauty business owners. And that is a marketing guide and apprenticeship program. So before we deep dive into exactly what that entails, the funding that is available in it, and how it can really help you to boost your revenues and your business, I thought it'd be really nice to get to know them a little bit. So, Jessica, if we could start with you, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be part of this program launch.
Yeah, amazing. So I have been in the salon industry forever. So I started my first job in a salon when I was 12. My background as a child was a lot of domestic abuse and domestic violence. And so as early as I can remember, I was like, I need to be financially stable. I need to, and probably at 12, the salon industry was probably one of the only industries that would employ you. So I was like, great, I'm going to go and get a job. I'd already had a failed car wash business at 10 because I realized it wasn't scalable and it was very cold in the
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of entered that industry and I quickly saw how diverse the industry was, as in different job roles, different opportunities. Like, there's so many things that you can go on to do long term. So, I left school at 16. I did my own apprenticeship. I was a salon manager at 19 because I was very more business minded than creative
Mhm.
minded. I was making sure everyone hit targets, and I was like, why haven't you sold? Why haven't you done this? And I was very, very much a natural leader.
Yeah.
So, I was very much into sales and marketing and the business and the targets and all that side of it, even when I worked in salons.
Mhm.
And then I went into education. So I was an assessor for hair, beauty, and business admin. I was an internal verifier. And then I went on maternity leave with my daughter in 2014. And I was like, if I go back to work, there's nowhere else for me to go. Like, I'm already head of the center, I'm already internal verifier. Like, there's nowhere else for me to go. I did a consulting degree whilst I was on maternity leave. And very naturally, my other alternative offer at that time was Ofsted,
Mhm.
and it was very pale male stale. It was very corporate, and I was like, I'll be fired after about a week. I was like, I don't think this environment is for me. I was like, I don't think I'll fit in here somehow. So I very naturally, a lot of the salon owners who I had been teaching all of their apprentices were contacting me, and they're like, I know you're on maternity leave, but can you come and help me? Can you like just come and do a consulting day with me? So that's how I started consulting. So it was very much like a face-to-face business model that grew very naturally, very organically. And then when I had my son in 2016, we took the whole business online. And now we've got clients all over the world, and we've done multi-millions in that business. So, it's kind of, I've always been in that industry. And then now we're growing and developing. I have a property company, I have a clothing line launching, like lots of different diverse things. And I'd say that's because I have good core business skills and sales and marketing skills.
And I think that's the thing because a lot of hair and beauty professionals enter the industry because they are creatives first and foremost, and they love what they do. And obviously, particularly in the nail market as well, they love color, they love style, they love fashioning their fingertips. But you can be as creative as you can, but if you don't know how to market that creativity, then you're kind of stuck. And a lot of the time, business skills, I think they're starting to be taught more in colleges now, but the conventional training route doesn't all into beauty, doesn't always teach those core foundational skills. So these kind of programs and these apprenticeships I think are so important now. But before we get into it, so we have the lovely Sarah Abel also on this Zoom. So Sarah, you've got an amazing background as well. Please share information about your story.
So it's a little bit similar to Jess. I had a very difficult childhood. I was a child carer. I lost my father very young, and I lost my mum very young. So I think there has definitely been an element, the same as Jess, is that there's only one person that's going to make this happen, and that's going to be me. I can't rely on other people. And maybe that was a good lesson for me. So I did work in a hair salon from the age of about 11 to about 16, but I went to live with my grandparents when I was 14, because my mum went into full-time care. And they were very much like, oh, the hair and beauty sector, there's not much money in it, all this other stuff. So I did go down different routes, lots of different jobs till I finally ended up working for a cosmetic company. So it's sort of like ticked the box for beauty, which I really loved. But I went in as a sales and marketing role rather than rather than what it was. But same as Jess, realised quite quickly I think I was a lot older than Jess, though. I was about 36, that if I stayed in that role, I wasn't going to progress to where I wanted to progress, and walked into a nail salon that I used to have my nails done, looked at the money that was going in the till and thought, actually, I can make some money out of this. So bought a nail salon, learned very quickly that you have to have some really good business skills to run a business, and I didn't. So I failed dismally in there, ended up with about 75k's worth of debt, ended up having 5 salons, but I had a lot of debt doing it, and I thought, right, and I actually now call that good debt, because that actually did accelerate my growth, because that debt was investments rather than just spending it on holidays and cars. It was putting the money into the business. But I also realized, okay, there's got to be more of growing a business quicker. And one of the things that was really failing for me was I was getting people from the local colleges, and now I understand the sector. I also understand that it's not easy for the colleges either, because a lot of people are pushed into the hair and beauty sector when they're young, because like Jess said, a lot of people look at the hair and beauty sector sometimes as being like the poor cousin, as in, if you're not that bright, let's go and do hair and beauty. And, actually, I find people in our sector are really creative, but not just creative. 9 times out of 10 are like resilient, and they want to learn. But the thing that the main skill they do not learn is marketing and sales. And, like, I know I'm the same as Jess. My business has turned over multiple figures. Our turnover is just over 1.2 million now. So it's grown very, very quickly. But that has all been down to actually being visibility and marketing and sales, because you can't grow unless you're out there doing those things. So there was very much an element of me, as in, how we I ended up speaking to a local guy who had a training academy. He at that point was delivering apprenticeships. And I said, how do you get that money? And basically he told me what to do. And then I was delivering a nail actual apprenticeship on his behalf. So like I was partnering with him on that. Um, the story is basically then I began to realize there wasn't just apprenticeship funding, there's all these different pots of funding. And I went out and got all the things that you needed to be a proper training provider. And then my next goal was really to like create all these different courses that would help and develop people within our business, but not having to use their own. Some elements that you're always going to have to invest, but there's also, when you're growing a team, that's a costly thing. If you're trying to grow a team, how can you actually afford to put, you might go and do the training, but you're going to be investing into them as well. And one of the downsides of that is eventually they may leave, and you've invested that money, but you don't feel as if you've had that return of stuff. So I was looking at different elements of the business that people needed. So I realized people needed leadership skills. I knew that people needed marketing and sales, because you can't go out and employ more people unless your business is growing, and the only way for it to grow is through that. Ended up on a speaking engagement with Jess. Okay, got really to know her really, really well, and thought we so align, because her marketing side of her skills are like second to none. I invested in a couple of Jess's programs myself, because I wanted to again, I think when you work with somebody or you collaborate with someone, you need to know that they're going to be there for the long term, and that they're actually invested in what you're trying to do as well. Realised very quickly that she is an action taker, and
that leader, isn't it? It's the natural born leader in her.
She's a leader, and that to me was a really important thing with someone that we were going to work with.
Yeah.
So I said to her, look, I've got this program that is funded through the government. There's nobody in the sector that is actually properly delivering this or is delivering it, or if it is, it's not been really talked about in our sector. If I show you what's involved in it, have a look at it and see if you can come up with the resources to be able to put something together so we could deliver that course together. And obviously, Jess has trained a lot of people in marketing already. So she also has salon owners that already had their Assessors Award. So we went out to her audience and said, is there somebody in there that would like to make more money than what they're earning at the moment? And we found Donna, who has been an absolute dream. Okay, so she now has 37 of those people on the program. Because it was in the development role, we didn't want to push it out too quick because we wanted to make sure that it was, fit for purpose.
Yeah.
But the testimonials that we've had,
Mhm.
and it isn't just, I think people, especially in our sector, just think it's content making without a very clear strategy of what you're trying to achieve. And one of the things that Jess has taught me over the last sort of like 18 months is that you don't have to, you don't have to physically do it yourself. You can train other people within your business, but you need a proper system to do that. And I think the multi-channel apprenticeship does exactly that, because it isn't just talking about social media, it's PR, it's events, it's everything that goes, how you manage those resources, how you like get visibility in your business, to be able to create that. And I think Jess and I have proved that is what you can do, because both of us have built significantly big businesses
Yeah.
doing exactly that. And I think having Jess around there to help me with the processes and all the things that go with that, okay, has really accelerated not just my business, but I'm now seeing people that are coming in on that qualification, their businesses are now accelerating, and because of that, they're getting value. Do you know what I mean? It's not them doing it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And Jess, talk us through, if we've got salon owners watching and we've got independent nail and beauty professionals watching here that are like, yes, marketing, sales skills, growth ideas are really missing from my business. Talk me through how they can get involved in your program. And I know Sarah touched on some of the core skills that can be learned through it, but talk us through maybe the whole process and the structure of this marketing apprenticeship.
Yeah, sure. So my goal with it was to make it really commercial, because I think in hair and beauty, the one thing that we hear in the industry again and again and again is that, hairdressers finish their qualification and they're not commercial.
Mhm.
Beauty therapists finish their qualifications and they're not commercial. So what we would like to ideally see is that you do your hair or beauty course,
Mhm.
you then do like level 2, then do multi-channel marketer, then do your level 3. Because if you can't market yourself, if you can't fill your column, if you can't do all these extra activities, and that's whether you work as part of a team in a salon, whether you're a salon manager, whether you're a receptionist, whether you are the business owner, whether you are a sole trader, whether you're mobile, whether you work, independently from home by yourself. Even if you work for a brand, like we've got some brands who are interested in putting their team through multi-channel marketer. We've got some people in the wider scope, in clinics and in dentists and in, that are very, very similar positioned businesses that want to do multi-channel marketer as well. So unless you can market yourself, you're going to really struggle to be successful, because you've got to have that commercial awareness so that you can grow your own business. So the kind of structure of it is that I wanted to make it really commercial, like every single tactic and every little single activity that you do within that program is going to and get you results.
Mhm.
That's like, I'm a results driven coach. In fact, somebody that we know, she said to me the other day, she said, Jess, you should come with a speed awareness course, because you're going to go fast and you're going to get results. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, absolutely, because why would you not? Like, that's what education should be about, is getting results and getting them in the shortest, fastest possible time with proven with proven strategies. And I
Yeah.
just want to touch on what Sarah said there, is Sarah basically came to me and then she did a due diligence on me. She came into my mastermind, she came to my courses, she came and watched my events, she came and spoke to my clients. One thing we're seeing in the industry is not enough people are doing due diligence.
Mhm.
Like, go and look for the results of these people that you're going to work with or interact with or whatever, right? Do your due diligence. So in the kind of process of the course, the other thing, what we really start with is mapping out a marketing plan. I
Right.
think a lot of people are reactive to their marketing and they're like, oh, just throw something on Instagram because I haven't posted for 2 days. And you're like, it's not really a strategy. So we teach them like, what's your peaks and troughs? What's your business needs? What are you actually trying to achieve in this business at the
Mhm.
moment? When are you planning for recruitment? When are you planning for sales? When are you planning for Christmas? When are you planning for your quiet periods? When are you planning to promote that new staff member? Like, all these things have to be planned and thought out. So we kind of really go through the whole strategy. But I think the other thing to think about is people get to a limit in their business because of two reasons. You're always going to have natural loss of clients. So you've always got to be marketing to new clients. Most people don't get enough new clients because they continue to go to their warm audience. People who already know them, you're talking to the same three people
Mhm.
over and over and over again because all you do is post twice a week on Instagram that your mum and your neighbour is seeing, right? If you're not running ads, you're not doing PR, you're not doing events, you're not doing activities that stretch beyond your audience, and you're going out to a cold audience consistently and nurturing them into a warm audience, you're not growing your audience. So you're not growing leads and you're not growing customers. And it's those strategies that, unless you're having a multi-channel omnipresent strategy, you are going to hit that limit of growth. And I know I hope you've probably all seen Alex Hormozy has recently done this huge internet launch. Now, last year he put out 64 pieces of content a day, right? And the truth, when you have a strategy, the truth is now we have to put out more volume, more consistency, and better quality of content. So you can either get left behind or you can learn the strategies how to do that really specifically and really concisely. And so that it's planned and it actually is attainable and reachable to do that.
And
Yeah.
I want to add to that. I think one of the biggest things that I find is that, to grow a team so you can work on strategy is what every business owner should be doing.
Mhm.
I mean, I know most business owners that get into business, it's not to be a nail technician, it's not to be a beauty therapist, it's not to be a clinic owner. They get in because they want lifestyle. They want to be able to step back from their business and do things on a day-to-day basis. They don't want to be actually in the business doing the jobs, if you know what I mean. Some people do, and I'm okay with that. If that's what you want to do, I look at that as more of a well-paid job. And if you're a stylist who's actually happy doing that, that's fine.
Mhm.
But if you want to be able to get lifestyle, and let's be totally honest, there does come a point in our industry where you are at a point where you can't be on the salon floor for the rest of your life. You can't, because it's a very physical job. So, like doing nails, I remember in my salon, I had to go and learn how to do nails because I needed to know what my standards were. So it's a little bit like Jess said, I had to go and learn the skill so that I understand it. So then when I do, I can recognize what's good and what's bad. And I
Yeah.
think that's what a lot of, and it's the same in marketing. You need to go out and get that skill to know what is good and what's bad. Because I was Jess's ideal client, really, because I was going out and I had more experience than most people that get into this course. Okay, I would go out to these people, and because I didn't really know how to run Facebook ads, or I didn't really know how to generate extra, these big massive leads, they'd sell me a dream and I wouldn't get any results. Or if they did do anything really well, I didn't recognize that it takes time to build that machine. And if you keep on doing what you're doing, then eventually you'll get them. But I feel now I can go, and if I wanted to outsource it, at some point,
Mm.
I would know what was good and what was bad. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's not saying you can't do that long term, but if you know what your strategy is and what you're trying to achieve. So are you trying to achieve more clients in your salon? Are you trying to attract new people to your business to actually you know, like become stylists or nail technicians or beauty therapists, whatever you're trying to do to expand,
Yeah.
the only way to do that is to market. And for me, that was a really big thing. So when Jess and I got chatting, I went, Liz, Jess, is we need to roll this out to the, you know, to the hair and beauty sector because this is their biggest problem. They stay small because they don't really understand just how important that is. That's if you've got that skill, that's what will create your managers. That, you know, like whenever I'm building my business now, I go, okay, I need now to employ a sales and marketing manager. How much is that salary? Right. What do I need to go and market, okay, within my business to get that salary so that I can step back? Because, you know, you will reach a limit of, that sounds thingy, there is, you know what lifestyle is. Everybody's different. Somebody might want to be on a yacht, but somebody might just want to travel the world. Do you know what I mean? So like, you know what your ceiling of what you want to earn is. Anything over that is basically replacing yourself in your business.
Mhm.
But so many people invest in things that are not important, like you know, a fancy car or a new machine for their business, or it can be, you know, going on 20 holidays a year, which they really can't afford, rather than putting that
Refit.
money back. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
amount of salon refits, and I'm like,
Absolutely, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you can have the prettiest sale on the high street, but if nobody walks down there and sees it, do you know what I mean? It's just a cost, and it's not an investment as such. Do you know that's how I
Absolutely.
feel.
And I think a lot of beauty professionals can be a little bit nervous of the words marketing and sales, particularly, because they're like, oh no, I'm in it for the love of doing this. But you have to push yourself, you have to promote yourself, and you have to kind of get that content out there and see how you can capitalize on your day to day. And you know, these are the skills that you're teaching within the apprenticeship. But it's there can be a bit of a complacency, I think. In the maybe quite a few salon owners or nail professionals can be like, well, my blocks are full pretty much, so that's fine. But do you not want to grow? Do you not want to sit back a couple of days and be earning while you're, you know, doing something fun online or learning something new? You could probably be earning while that's doing that. It's not all about if you're busy and you're fully booked, okay, what's the next step? How can you
Yeah.
grow and how can you maximize on that so that you can enjoy that lifestyle at the end? I
And
think
I also think if there's two, if you think about if you are earning, I don't know, if your income is at a certain rate, 50, 60, 70,000 pound a year, if that you double that,
Mm,
do you know what I mean? That's
yeah,
double what you've got and then treble it and you can keep on going. But if you know how to market your business,
yeah.
and you don't have to have multiple products.
Mhm.
You can be really good at one thing. And actually, in my experience, the people that are really good at one thing are the businesses that grow because they perfect it to a point that they're known for that. And that just is all down to marketing.
Yeah.
And your business, as far as I'm concerned, is a cash flowing asset to be able to use that money to invest into stuff that can give you incomes that
Mm,
you don't have to work so hard. Now,
yeah,
if you love what you do, that's absolutely fine. You can still do it, but why not enjoy your life as well? You know, you can have
definitely.
both.
Find your
yeah.
USP. And just in terms of a practical way, so with regard to the marketing apprenticeships, Jess, can you tell me from start to finish how people find out about it, what happens when you reserve and register, and what happens from then on? What's the storyboard?
Yeah, so basically, what you would do is, and we'll give you obviously all of the details, and you can fill out, we'll put all of the details below, so you can read through all of the information. There's a webinar video on there that me and Sarah did as well, and then you can complete an application form. So basically, you fill that out, like definitely have a chat with your team members if you've got team members first. The other thing me and Sarah do with multi-channel marketer that I do with my team is my team create products within my business that they market and sell, and they then earn a commission from. So we all want to retain our staff. We all want to keep our staff engaged, and we all want to keep like a longevity of our staff and be able to, I wanted them to create a business within my business. I
Mhm.
want them to be self-motivated. I want them to reach their own goals as well. So find out what your staff goals are and how, by being like doing multi-channel marketing, maybe they could freelance do ads for a local florist,
Mhm.
right? Like they can earn money on the side, or they can do other things by doing this qualification as well. So I definitely have that conversation with your team of what are their goals and how is this going to help them to achieve their goals.
Mhm.
And then complete the application form with them. And then my team member, Sally, she will be in touch with you. And then you'll be handed over to Sarah's team member, Lewis, who just goes through all the compliance. And we make sure that you fully understand what's in the course and what's coming up, what's covered, and all of those things. And then we get you onboarded, and then you'll be with your assessor, Donna, and you'll be in, and you'll have your kind of schedule and the program and the steps all set out, and all the team there to support you. There's me in there, there's Sarah in there, there's Lewis in there, there's Donna, your assessor in there. There's kind of a whole team in there then supporting you through all of these steps.
And
And at the end of it, you actually get a qualification. So you're the people that are actually on it. So like Jess touched on, like speaking to your team, one of the biggest things is getting them on this, because the whole idea of it, although you learn it, which is good, you want them to learn it so that, because both Jess and I have spoken about this in our salons. So when we own salons, we have people that come from the local college, or we have apprentices that we get to level two hair, and then 9 times out of 10, where do they go then? It's like, okay, I've heard it over and over again from salon owners when they've trained apprentices and then they've left. Basically they've said, oh, okay, the apprentice, I don't want the apprentice now, and then they go out into the world and they haven't got a clue what they're doing. And the main reason they do that is because they're not revenue producing. So what you want to be able to do is get them revenue producing very quickly. So it's a win-win for you because they bring in more money for your business, but it's a win-win for the actual person who's coming to the end of their level two hair or level two beauty or level two nail services, because they're now learning a skill which will grow their business within your business. But it also means as well that's going to generate you both more money. So it's a little bit for you fulfilling that. And
Mhm.
one of the things you get at the end of this is a proper qualification. So it's a regulated standard that if you wanted to go in the future to other employment, so like for instance, a lot of my apprentices used to be with me till they were like 24, 25, 26. They would more often than not have their children and then may return 1 or 2 days, but they would be able to run a business. Do you know what I mean? As in they'd be able to run something on the side. It gives them that skill for the future. There's also people that don't want their own business, that want to be within your business, but want to earn more money.
Yeah,
And the only way of their earning more money is for them to be bringing more revenue into that business.
that's
So
it.
it's a bit of a win-win for both of you, because you've got your business is growing as a salon owner or business owner. And you've also got your team are growing because so they can earn more money. So why would they leave you? Because I always say this to people. There's two reasons people leave you. The first one is if they feel unappreciated. So by giving them that next step to go, as in to go on to something that's going to benefit them in the future, but also now,
Yeah.
is great. And the other one is money. So if you can tick both those boxes, so as a business owner, you're more likely to retain staff for longer, okay, that will bring more revenue into your business. And then you've got your recruitment process, like Jess said earlier, they do their level two hair, level two beauty, level two nail services, then they go on to the multi-channel, then they go on to the level three qualifications. They've got a real stepping stone. So if somebody was offering me that, I would much more likely want to go to that business than I would down a business down the road where you're going to reach that level and then can't move on.
Mm.
So I think there's some real good things. And because it is a proper regulated qualification that other employers out of the sector recognise, so once you've got it, it's transferable. You can go to any
Yeah.
other place and you will sit what's called endpoint assessment by an outside awarding body who will be going, yes, you are commercially viable. And that isn't someone from our sector, that is somebody outside our sector that is actually doing that. So they will look at you and say, yeah, they are competent, you do a project, etc. And Jessica and I have had this conversation over and over again. How many times do we employ people on apprenticeships and say, you now go and build your client base? But they don't know how to. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? This is
When I used to be in Salon and people like your salon owners and salon would be like, grow your column, grow your column. I'd be like, okay, thinking, what does that mean?
Yeah, yeah,
What do
like
I
what's
yes,
going on?
actually
It's
do? So this is all the tools to be able to do that and much more. Like, yeah, so yeah, I just used to find out I was like, okay.
how do I do it about my own? But in terms of the program itself, how is it delivered? Is it all online? And how much time do people need to dedicate to it? Is there homework? Like, what's the structure in terms of that sense? Is there a completion period?
yes. So we normally say 18 months. It can be done quicker, but it will mean, so the standard for an apprenticeship is the same across the board. It doesn't matter what apprenticeship you do. The minimum hours you can put into the learning is 6 hours. Now, what that looks like is very different to what you think. It isn't just sitting in front of a computer all day. So it could be an hour of learning online. So the actual course is delivered online. There are pre-recorded modules that are on there you can watch in your own time in the business. Okay. So that's the first thing. But there's a weekly session with the assessor on a Tuesday that everybody attends. So like you go into that and it's a group of people that are doing exactly the same qualification as what you are doing. So if you need any support, that's there. We also have an assessor that is you can reach out to at any time. So it's that accountability, because I always find with a lot of online programs, there is no accountability. There is with your assessor, because she's going to meet with you at least once a month, okay, on a one-to-one level basis, face to face, and that's online again. But she's going to meet with you. So any questions you're particularly having, but you've also got the group element where you sit with other people who are on the same course as you, who may be at different levels, because we do a roll on, roll off. So if you might be somebody right at the beginning that's already been through what you're going through, and all your work that you do is actually in the salon that you're working in. So say for instance you've got a Christmas campaign that you want to launch in December, that's what you'll be working towards as part of the qualification. So you're actually planning that event, planning all the social media that goes out to promote that event, and that is evidence towards your qualification. So it's very hands-on. What Jess spoke about earlier on about the marketing strategy, okay, that's planned for that particular business. Now, whether that be your client base or whether that be for the salon itself, okay, that's a conversation that you and the employer would have, or if you are the salon owner yourself, it would probably more likely be just for the salon over it. But if it's for like the actual apprentice that's actually working in there, it's more likely to be building their client base so that they make them revenue producing. So what does that look like? So that's the very first step before you even do anything. You're going to plan out 12 months of content, or 12 months of what you're promoting when, and then you'll work towards that, okay, as part of that progression to the 18 months.
Yeah.
I find you probably put more into it, but because you get the results, do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, it's not a case you've got to wait to the 18 months to get the money coming in. What you'll find is very quickly you'll be learning things and going, okay, now I've got an extra 5 or 6 clients this week. And Jessie's clients that have worked with her, I mean, it's okay to share this, Jess, as in, is it Claire? Is
Sam's ads.
Sam's ads. So Sam, she took ownership of her ads within her business, and literally now runs ads like £2,500 a year in ads but she brings in £500,000. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? From that strategy that Jess has taught. And that's all covered as part of what we do,
Yeah.
including streamlining all the marketing. So you don't have to do it every single year. It's like all pre-planned. So my marketing now is pre-planned. So next year I just repurpose everything.
Mhm.
And anyone that comes into my business that learns will go on to the multi-channel, because what they will do then is they will then learn what we've already put in place and perfect it and make it better.
Yeah.
But it's not that they've got to do it all over again. It's a lot of it's already there. So
Yeah.
I think one of the big things for salon owners is that they get back their time long term. If they cover this, they get people that come into the business that will want to stay with them because they're being developed, and they enjoy it because it's something that actually they're working towards growing their business within that business as such, like Jess said earlier. But also you grow as a business overall because people want to come and work with you,
Mm.
because you can become the salon that everyone wants to come to because
Exactly that.
yeah,
Exactly that. And I
you're
think
developing them.
let's talk money. So, obviously, continued professional development is so important, but I think our industry is still and probably still will be for, I think it's about another 2 years, they're estimating, recovering from COVID. And, I know you've got to invest to recoup, but let's talk about the funding and the money side of things. Talk me through that.
You're going to die when I tell you this. This apprenticeship is worth £11,000.
Wow.
1,500 of that goes towards your own point assessment. So that is what we pay the awarding bodies to come back and assess it. So the positive with that is that what we teach you is commercially viable at the end, because if not, we don't we it affects our figures. So you've got to be competent at the end. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like that's one thing. The rest of the money, which is 9,500, comes directly from the government. Now, if you are 16 to 18, okay, you get that completely funded. If you are six and you get £1,000 grant, or rather the business owner gets £1,000 grant from the government to help towards wage costs. So 500 at 3 months and then another 500 after the 12-month period. So that's the first one. The next stage, which is the what I call the 19 to 21, again, it's completely funded. You don't get a grant for the wage costs, but it's completely funded. If you are older than that, okay, the government require a 5% contribution, which is about £650. However, the levy, which is big companies that have got a £300 million tax uh, payroll, okay, they have to pay into what's called a government levy. So basically, they're taxed to offer apprenticeships. So the government take this tax off, and the only thing that they can use it for is apprenticeships.
Mhm.
One of the things that a lot of big corporations also have to do now is demonstrate social, in other words, helping smaller businesses to grow. That's one of the things they have to do. So a lot of them put this what's called into the levy pot. Okay. So as a salon owner or a business owner, you as a small business can get access to that levy pot. And like what Jess was saying earlier on, when you come and speak to Lewis, Lewis will explain all of that to you. So you've got two avenues. You could get it completely funded if you want to put the 5% contribution because you don't want the hassle of going out and finding the levy money. Okay. It depends how quickly you want to get started. But you could ideally have this fully funded if you wanted to. And that's the plus of it. That's why Jess and I get frustrated, because we know the value of this course and how much that can be, and how much I've invested in marketing and learning visibility things myself, when actually the government actually will fund it for you.
And is there a specific start date for this course, or can people kind of join onto it whenever? And how many places are available on this course?
Okay, so we're up to 37 at the moment, okay, because we wanted to, before we rolled it out to everybody, we wanted to perfect it and make sure it was fit for purpose, and it really is. Okay, so now while we're sharing it with you, we're ready to go bigger now. So at the moment, I mean, it really does depend, okay, how big this, there is no ceiling at the at the end of the day on this, because it is something that can go out there, you know, everyone can come to. We do have roll on, roll off. So we do like a cohort. We try and do it in cohorts. And the reason that is because it just makes it easier for us to manage as such. But we have had people dribbling in the last few months. So all you've got to do is get on a call with Sally. She will explain everything to you, what the course is, what's expected of you, etc. Then you go to Lewis, who will tell you, because everybody's different from compliance level. So depending on who you are, what your business is, how big it is, the different steps you need to take to be able to get access to that money. So he will go through all of that. It probably, if I'm really honest, it's about from when you make your inquiry to about 8 weeks is the time frame, because there is things that you have to do in the background. You have to reserve the money, you have to reserve the funding, etc. But the way that we've got it set up now, it's more on a rolling in and rolling off. When we initially did it, we only had so many places because we wanted to make sure that it was fit for purpose first.
Oh, that's amazing. And just finally, if anyone is super interested in participating in this apprenticeship, which why would they not be with all of the benefits that you've both explained and under your guidance as well, how can they find out more and how can they reserve their place?
Yeah, so we'll drop the link to the sales information. So it's got everything on there. And then there's a button that says complete your application form. So you're just going to go through that information, your team, complete the application form. And then my team member, Sally, will be in touch with you and then go through those next steps.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much for bringing this marketing apprenticeship to the fore. It's such a necessary qualification and program, and it's great to have two amazing, experienced entrepreneurs behind it as well. You know, supercharging that for the hair and beauty industry and other industries as well, of course. So, thank you both so much for bringing this to us, and we look forward to following the journeys of the nail techs and beauty pros that have signed up.
Thank you very much, Helena.
Take care.